10 Steps to Developing Your Language Skills by Jim Rohn. Introduction. Language is the key that unlocks new worlds. It's cultural, intellectual, and professional. Yet developing true fluency demands more than just memorizing vocabulary or decoding grammar. Rules. It requires a mindset of continual growth and disciplined habit formation. Jim Rohn, renowned mentor and personal development pioneer, taught that success is neither magical nor mysterious. Success is the natural consequence of consistently applying basic fundamentals. In this spirit, this guide lays out 10 foundational steps, rooted in Rohn's philosophy that, when practiced daily, will accelerate your journey toward confident, nuanced language mastery. Whether you're a beginner setting foot on your first language, adventure, or an advanced speaker aiming for refinement, these steps offer a holistic framework. You'll learn how to set clear goals, craft daily routines, leverage mentorship, measure progress, all while staying motivated by the enduring wisdom of Jim Rohn. Step 1. Define your destination. Set clear, compelling goals, if you don't. Design your own life plan. Chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. Jim Rohn. Before you dive into textbooks or apps, take time to define exactly what language success means for you. Purpose and motivation. What will fluency enable? Traveling with ease? Career advancement? Deep literary appreciation? Pinpointing your why will fuel your daily drive. Specific milestones. Translate your why into measurable goals. Hold a 5-minute conversation in month 1. Read a short story by month 3. Deliver a presentation in 6 months. The more specific, the more actionable. Time frame and benchmarks. Assign realistic dates. By September 1st, I'll pass the B1 level exam, or within 90 days, I'll understand news broadcasts without subtitles. Accountability system. Rohn emphasized the power of reporting progress. Share your goals with a friend or coach, schedule weekly check-ins, or keep a visible progress chart. By designing your own language life plan, you align daily habits, with long-term vision, ensuring each study session has purpose. Without clear goals, effort dissipates. With them, every action compounds into tangible progress. Step 2. Build daily discipline. Craft a growth-oriented routine. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Jim Rohn. Language fluency is the result of small, consistent tasks performed over time, rather than sporadic study binges. Establish a daily routine that integrates language learning seamlessly into your life. Morning rituals. Begin each day with 10 to 15 minutes of listening or flashcards. Even 5 minutes of reviewing vocabulary while brewing coffee sets a tone of progress. Time blocking. Allocate specific blocks in your calendar. 8 o'clock to 8:30 a.m. Reading news articles. 12 o'clock to 12:20 p.m. Vocabulary review. 7:30 to 8 p.m. Speaking practice. Habit stacking. Link language tasks to existing habits. After brushing your teeth, launch your language app. While commuting, listen to a podcast. During lunch breaks, journal in the target language. Weekly planning and review each Sunday evening. Outline the coming week's objectives, new grammar structures to tackle, dialogue partners to meet, cultural content to consume, and reflect on what worked last week. Reward and reflection. At week's end, celebrate small wins, completing a chapter, nailing a pronunciation drill, and note areas for adjustment. Rohn taught that reflection reinforces discipline. Creating a disciplined cadence transforms language. Learning from a chore into an integral part of your identity. Over weeks and months, these habits accrue, propelling you steadily toward fluency. Step 3. Cultivate the habit of extensive reading. Reading is essential for those who seek to rise above the ordinary. Jim Rohn. Reading immerses you in authentic language use, vocabulary in context, grammatical structures in action, and cultural nuance woven into narrative. To harness reading effectively, choose engaging material. Start with topics you love. Travel blogs, news articles, short stories, or manga. Interest fuels persistence. Gradual difficulty increase. Begin with graded readers or children's books. Then progress to newspapers, novels, and academic essays as comprehension grows. Active reading techniques: preview, scan titles, subtitles, and images to anticipate. Content: annotate, underline unknown words, jot margin notes, highlight key ideas. Summarize: after each paragraph or chapter, pause and recast the gist in your own words, either mentally or in writing. Vocabulary journal: maintain a dedicated notebook or digital list. For each new word, note the sentence context, definition, collocations, and an example of your own creation. Review this journal weekly. Irregular immersion bursts. Dedicate 1 day a week to reading marathons. An hour or two of uninterrupted reading in the target language. These sessions build stamina and deepen comprehension. Rohn emphasized that successful people are simply those with successful habits. Reading extensively is one such success habit. Each page you turn builds your internal lexicon and strengthens your intuitive grasp of structure and style. Step 4. Practice deliberate listening. Listening is where love begins. If you want to love better, you should listen better. Rohn. Listening comprehension bridges the gap between silent knowledge and real-time understanding. To sharpen your ears, variety of sources, explore podcasts, news bulletins, audiobooks, music, and films. Each medium exposes you to different registers, accents, and speeds. Active versus passive listening. Passive: let the language play in the background while cleaning or commuting to acclimate your ear. Active: sit down with transcripts or subtitles off, focus intently, and take notes on unfamiliar phrases. Shadowing technique: choose a short audio clip, 30 seconds to 1 minute. Play it sentence by sentence, then immediately repeat aloud, mimicking the speaker's rhythm, intonation, and pronunciation. This builds both comprehension and speaking fluidity.
Actation.
Exercises: listen to a sentence or two, pause, and write down exactly what you hear. Compare with the transcript, noting any discrepancies. This hones attention to detail. Comprehension quizzes: after listening, answer targeted questions. Who is speaking? What is the topic? What opinions or facts were presented? Summarizing aloud reinforces retention. By modeling the principal action is the foundational key. To all success, deliberate listening forces you off the passive consumer track and into active engagement, accelerating your internalization of authentic speech patterns. Step 5. Engage in active speaking and shadowing. Speaking is the crucible in which confidence and competence merge. Yet many learners hesitate, fearing mistakes. To conquer this, language partners and tutors use platforms like Tandem, italki, or local conversation clubs. Schedule regular sessions, ideally twice a week, to practice topics relevant to your goals. Structured speaking tasks: prepare short presentations, 2 to 3 minutes on familiar subjects, introducing yourself, describing a hobby, summarizing a book, and record yourself. Listen back, note errors or hesitations, then re-record. Shadowing. Revisited: beyond listening, shadow celebrity interviews or TED Talks in your target language. This not only trains pronunciation but also builds spontaneous speaking skills. Self-talk and monologues: narrate your daily routine or think aloud in the target language during solitary activities. Describe what you're cooking, walking, or planning. Turning every internal thought into spoken practice demystifies speaking. Fluency over perfection. Embrace mistakes as growth signals. Rohn reminded that don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Each error highlights an area to improve through deliberate speaking practice. Transform passive comprehension into active expression, mirroring Rohn's teaching that formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. Step 6. Write with purpose and reflection. Either you run the day or the day runs you. Rohn. Writing crystallizes your understanding, forcing you to organize thoughts and apply rules. To leverage writing, daily journaling, commit to 100 to 200 words each day in the target language. Topics can range from personal reflections to summaries of what you learned. Over time, you'll notice vocabulary growth and structural fluency. Targeted writing prompts. Use prompts that align with your goals. Describe your dream vacation. Argue for or against remote work. Explain the plot of your favorite film. This encourages creativity within a familiar structure. Peer and tutor feedback. Share your writing with native speakers or teachers. Encourage corrections, not just of grammar, but of idiomatic usage. Incorporate their feedback into your next session. Error tracking log. Maintain a log of recurring mistakes, verb tenses, prepositions, and articles. Periodically review and write dedicated exercises to address each error type. Structured composition practice, study sample essays or articles. Analyze their organization, introduction, thesis, supporting paragraphs, conclusion. Then emulate the structure in your own pieces. Writing underpins clear thinking and boosts. Active recall. Jim Rohn taught that disciplined, reflective habits are the building blocks of achievement, and writing embodies both. Step 7. Seek mentorship and constructive feedback. Learning is the beginning of wealth. Learning is the beginning of health. Learning is the beginning of spirituality. Searching and learning is where the miracle process all begins. Jim Rohn. Pitfall 5. Avoidance of accountability undermines growth. Finally, shying away from accountability is perhaps the most corrosive outcome of misplaced niceness. When we are too nice, we avoid difficult conversations about performance unmet, deadlines, or corrective feedback for fear of being labeled harsh or unkind. This tolerance of mediocrity stunts both personal and organizational development. The cornerstone text. The Oz principle defines accountability as a personal choice to rise above one's circumstances and demonstrate the ownership necessary for achieving desired results. Rohn's message aligns. True kindness sometimes involves holding ourselves and others to exacting standards.
Knowing that growth often demands discomfort.
Leaders who master compassionate accountability cultivate
high-performing teams that respect
boundaries and pursue excellence in unison. Jim Rohn's personal reflections on being kind but not weak throughout his seminars. Rohn frequently reiterated that the measure of true kindness lies in its sustainability and mutual enrichment, not in relentless self-sacrifice. He contrasted fleeting niceness, which often springs from insecurity, with generosity born of abundance and self-assuredness. In 7 Strategies for Wealth and Happiness, he writes, "Give more in value than you take in payment." This principle undergirds a healthy transactional ecology. We offer help where it aligns with our capabilities and values, and we refuse it when it conflicts with our core objectives. By doing so, we preserve our ability to give authentically and avoid the burnout that afflicts those who give out of obligation rather than choice, balancing kindness and strength. So, how do we reconcile Rohn's call for assertiveness with his equally fervent endorsement of empathy? The answer lies in mindful boundary setting, being explicit about one's availability, priorities, and the parameters within which one operates. As Dr. Nate Regier explains, compassionate accountability is the process of setting boundaries and strengthening relationships at the same time, an approach that allows kindness to flourish alongside structure. Practically, this means defining non-negotiables, for example, work hours, core deliverables, communicating them clearly to stakeholders, clients, colleagues, friends, so expectations align. Enforcing consequences when boundaries are crossed, not as punitive measures, but as affirmations of mutual respect, by coupling kindness with accountability. We create a feedback loop where generosity is appreciated rather than exploited, and both parties gain clarity on how to collaborate effectively. Practical strategies to avoid the niceness trap. Drawing on Rohn's teachings and contemporary research, here are concrete steps to ensure kindness empowers rather than impedes your success. Audit your commitments. Regularly review ongoing obligations. Eliminate or delegate tasks that no longer align with your goals. Practice decisive no. Experiment with declining non-essential requests for a week. It's documented in a very well-mined case study, which found participants reported increased self-respect and clarity after setting boundaries. Establish feedback rituals. Schedule periodic check-ins with peers or mentors to exchange candid feedback, reinforcing mutual accountability. Use assertive communication. Employ I statements. I can commit X, but not Y, to express limits without hostility, a technique proven to reduce interpersonal friction. Cultivate an accountability partner with someone who will challenge you to honor your commitments and respect your own boundaries. Leveraging the power of external support, implementing these practices transforms kindness from a passive trait into an active force that accelerates both personal and collective success. Case studies. When niceness undermines success, consider the story of a mid-level manager, Alice, who consistently agreed 2 extra projects to avoid disappointing her boss. Over time, her core responsibilities suffered, and she was bypassed for a promotion in favor of a peer who had learned to delegate effectively and assert workload limits. Alice's initial impulse to please inadvertently signaled a lack of strategic focus, causing leadership to question her readiness for higher roles. Similarly, startup founders who welcome every investor request without scrutinizing fit often dilute their vision and relinquish equity too early. Decisions rooted not in strategy, but in eagerness to avoid disappointing stakeholders. By contrast, founders who develop clear pitch boundaries attract investors aligned with their values, enabling faster, more sustainable growth. Conclusion: Jim Rohn's candid admonition that being too nice will kill your success serves as a powerful reminder that kindness, when untethered from boundaries and accountability, risks becoming a liability rather than an asset. Through his decades of teaching, Rohn urges us to cultivate purposeful generosity, one that empowers others while safeguarding our ability to pursue meaningful goals. By understanding the psychological pitfalls of excessive niceness, slowed progress, missed opportunities, erosion of authority, indecision, and avoidance of accountability. And by adopting strategies such as decisive boundary setting, compassionate accountability, and the enlistment of accountability partners, we can transform kindness into a catalyst for lasting success. As Rohn famously taught, success is attracted by the person you become. Let that person be both compassionate and resolute.